Hello everybody and welcome to my channel today. Today is the final episode of the Dairy Month episodes, and today I'm going to be talking all about milk. I did talk a little bit about milk in the first episode for Dairy Month that was all about milk, cream, and cheese. So if there's something you think is missing from this one, please go and take a look at that one to see if I've covered everything you wanted me to cover about milk. Having said that, let's get started on milk. No other animal on Earth consumes milk past infancy and early childhood. As a matter of fact, the enzyme that helps break down lactose, which is called lactase, stops being produced in the human body between the ages of 2 and 5. This results in lactose intolerance, which over 70% of the population of the world experiences on some level. When I was studying nutrition at the university level, my favorite fact that I found out was that most people are lactose intolerant. I thought it was very interesting that at such a young age, most people lose the ability to digest milk sugars. I don't know, I just thought that was really interesting, and it has stuck with me now for like 15 years or something. Like that's really the one thing from nutrition classes, especially the beginner nutrition classes, that really stuck with me because that was entirely new information. And I hope it's new information to you. It's important information because if you have any issues with digestion, milk would be one of the things that you should definitely check out to make sure you don't have any issues with. And that is easily done by just removing it from your diet for a while to see if the symptoms that you have been experiencing decrease. Now back to the information. Not only that, but cats are lactose intolerant. Most cats cannot consume milk comfortably as it causes intestinal distress, gas, diarrhea, and sometimes vomiting, the same way it does in humans. The diet of an animal that produces milk influences the taste of the milk that comes out of that animal. Other things that influence the taste of milk include the age of the animal and the breed or species of the animal. In addition to drinking, milk has many culinary applications, including fermenting and culturing, like with sour cream and yogurt. And if you haven't watched that video on fermented dairy, please take a look in the description. There will be a link to that video, which I did earlier this month. In addition to culturing and fermenting, dairy is used in many sauces, soups, stews, baked goods, puddings, and some custard bases. Animals that produce milk for human consumption include cows and sheep and goats, and even camels and donkeys, yaks, reindeers, and giraffes. In regards to cows, a heifer, which is the name for a female cow that has yet to calf, starts producing milk at about 2.5 years following the birth of her first calf. In order to keep the cow producing milk as long as possible, which naturally wanes at about 40 to 60 days after the birth of a calf, producers overlap births, which means the gestation and lactation periods overlap, which means they impregnate the cow quickly after birth, so she only dries up for about 2 months before giving birth again. An interesting fact about dairy cows consume between 30 and 50 gallons of water a day. In addition to consuming milk has been researched and has started to be used to make plastics. Those plastics are made out of the casein proteins in the milk. The name of plastic from casein is called galalith, and galalith is a synthetic plastic made from casein and formaldehyde. It's used for making fountain pens, small jewelry, buttons, and buckles. We're going to talk a little bit about some stats on milk production. The USDA's milk production report shows that the annual milk production in the United States in 2020 was 223 billion pounds of milk, coming from mostly California and Wisconsin, Idaho, Texas, and New York. California and Wisconsin are the largest producers of milk in the United States. It starts to drop off heavily at the third producer, which is Idaho, and it drops off at about 50% of production. So it drops off pretty quickly from Wisconsin. India is the largest milk producer in the world, with 22% of global production, followed by China, Pakistan, and Brazil. The highest milk surpluses are in New Zealand, the United States of America, Germany, France, Australia, and Ireland. The United States of America is the 5th largest exporter of dairy. New Zealand is the number 1 exporter of dairy in the world. The 3 top importers of dairy in the world are China, Germany, and Belgium. In the United States, there are 60,000 dairy farms, according to farm data. 60% of those farms have less than 25 cows. When selecting your milk, you want to make sure that there are no preservatives in it. The United States has some pretty strict regulations when it comes to milk, but that doesn't mean there's no preservatives in the milk. So you always, as with anything, want to check the ingredient list. There should be no thickeners, there should be really no preservatives, it should just be milk. That is all that your milk should be made of, is milk. Some of the preservatives that have been known to be used in dairy products, but that your dairy products don't necessarily contain, include formalin, which has been linked to causing liver and kidney damage, benzoic acid, and hydrogen peroxide. Another thing that you want to watch out for is hormones in your milk, specifically recombinant bovine growth hormones. As with anything, what you eat goes into your body, so if your milk contains extra hormones, those hormones will go into your body, and that is not necessarily a good thing. If you want to read more about bovine growth hormones being added to milk and all the research, do a Google search, there's plenty of it out there. Next, we're going to talk about a little bit about pasteurization. I do believe in the first video I talked a bit more extensively about pasteurization than I'm about to now, so if you want to know more, go check out that video. Pasteurization is required by law before the sale of milk. Pasteurization takes place at 161 degrees Fahrenheit or 72 degrees Celsius for 15 seconds. It destroys enzymes that promote spoiling and destroys pathogenic bacteria, enhances storage capability. Pasteurization is said to not significantly be detrimental to the nutritional value of milk, but this is debatable as it kills healthy lactobacilli strains of bacteria in the milk. I have some links in the description if you're interested in looking more at how high heat impacts nutritional value of milk and the healthiness of milk. Following pasteurization, there is even more pasteurization, and it is known as ultra pasteurization. And ultra pasteurization takes place at 275 degrees Fahrenheit or 135 degrees Celsius for 2 to 4 seconds. Whipping cream and individual creamers undergo ultra pasteurization. However, it may have the impact of decreasing whippability in whipping cream, so it's not super ideal, but it greatly extends the shelf life of the whipping cream. Following ultra pasteurization, ultra high temperature pasteurization, also known as UHT, ultra high temperature processing, or ultra high temperature pasteurization, takes place at 280 to 300 degrees Fahrenheit or 138 degrees to 150 degrees Celsius for 2 to 6 seconds. It provides optimal shelf stability if unopened for up to 3 months, but it has a slightly cooked taste and is not great for drinking. The next process that your milk probably goes through is homogenization. And homogenization is where the fat is dispersed through the liquid, preventing cream from rising to the top as it would in raw milk. It provides a uniform consistency and is whiter in color and richer in taste. Milk fat removal is done by placing the milk in a centrifuge and whipping it until all or most of the fat content is separated. Types of milk include whole, 2% or reduced fat, which has had enough fat removed to make the milk contain 2% milk fat. 1% or low fat or little fat has enough fat removed to make the milk contain 1% milk fat. Skim, not fat, fat-free, or no fat has less than 0.5% milk fat. And then there is fortified milk, which is infused with minerals and nutrients. Milk is made up of 4 elements. One is water, one is fat, one is protein, and one is lactose. So fats, proteins, and sugar, because lactose is a sugar. The proteins in milk are known as casein and whey. The lactose is what causes lactose intolerance, when the lactase required to break down the sugar in milk is no longer produced by the human body and causes the inability to digest milk sugars. Lactose intolerance is different than a milk allergy. A milk allergy has to do with the body's response to the protein in milk, whereas lactose intolerance is the body's response to sugar in the milk. While goat milk has lactose, it is easier to digest and contains less lactose than cow's milk. Some people with mild lactose intolerance may be able to tolerate goat milk. Goat milk does taste a little bit different than cow milk, and I was actually raised on goat milk. I do recommend trying goat milk if you've never had before. And I think that is all I have on milk today. And as I said, this wraps up June as Dairy Month. I hope this was an interesting video for you. I hope you liked it. Please give me a thumbs up if you did. Please subscribe. My channel needs subscribers. I need to get into that algorithm. Help a girl out. Thank you for stopping by. And as always, have a wonderful day. And so we're just going to talk quickly about pasteurization. I do believe I covered pasteurization